Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in the last video we have seen what histograms are, and in today's video we are going to have a look on KDE plots. So yes, let's start the video. So KDE plots are basically a smooth continuous version of an histogram. In histograms allows us to estimate the frequency, whereas KDE plots allows us to estimate the cumulative density or the probability density. So before we move on to KD plots, let's have a look on the data set we have. So this is our data set which contains city and date as its feature, and alongside it has the elements which contribute to the air pollution, and finally we have our target variable as AQI bucket, which is going to tell us about whether the air quality is moderate, good or satisfactory. So yes, let's start the KD plots. So basically KD plots are of two types. One is the univariate KD plot and the other one is bivariate KD plot. So in univariate KD plot, we just consider one feature, and that's why it is also called as 1D KD plot. So basically here I have used the KD plot function. Now Python is kind of a sorted language and easy to learn language because the functions Python provides here are very simple. So just by using this KD plot function, you can see a KD plot is plotted over here. And on the y-axis, this is a probability density. So now let's understand what is exactly probability density. So here you can see that this KD plot is kind of a pointed peak, and let's understand why is that so. Now here in our data set you can see that this is nitrogen oxide, and it has the values between like 1 to 7, uh, like the values are ranging more from 0 to 10, and that's the reason why this is a pointed peak. That is, the plot is skewed more towards left. So that's the reason why it's why the this is a pointed peak, because the more majority of the data lies between this first bar, that is between 0 to 10 range. So it's kind of difficult to understand the probability density from this plot, as this plot is uh, morely skewed towards left and not a perfectly distributed plot. So let's understand it by a different plot which is perfectly distributed. So, so here you can see that this is a perfectly bell-shaped curve because the data values or the data points are uh, perfectly distributed, and that's the reason it is a bell-shaped curve. So here on the y-axis it represents the frequency of the data, and on the on the right side it displays the density, that is the probability density. So here the KD plots cuts the histogram somewhere here, and the value on the y-axis is 0.02, which means that 20% of the entire data lies somewhere in this range from 0 to 10. And similarly here, the KD plot cuts the histogram here and the value is 0.05. So here it implies that 50% of the entire data is in this first region, in this first half, somewhere from 0 to 15 maybe. Okay, so this is what probability density is. It tells you the distribution, the percentage distribution of your data. Now let's have a look on what is cumulative density function. So by the word cumulative, it means that you go on adding the values to an existing value. Okay, so basically how cumulative works is you add 0.01 in 0.00, then in 0.01 you go on adding 0.02 and so on, and you get this increasing curve, and finally the slope becomes 0. That is, the graph is completely constant. So this probability density gives us the analysis on the basis of 50% of the data. So from here you can understand that, okay, 50% of this data lies in the range from 0 to 25. And here it tells you about the 100% of the data, the complete data. So this, here it implies that 100% of the data is before 175, below 175. Okay, and after 175 there are no more values, or maybe there is nothing above 175. Okay, so yes, that's cumulative density function. Now here comes the arguments such as kernel and bandwidth. So let's first understand what is a kernel. So kernel is nothing but the shape of this KD plot. So let's have a look over here. So here you can see that there are different kinds of kernels shown over here. So this is a Gaussian kernel, and this is the default kernel we get if we code. And then this is a top hat kernel. This is a EPA kernel we called it shortly. This is linear, and this is cosine kernel. So, and there are many more kernels which are available, but the more advisable, or you can say the default one, is Gaussian kernel. So here I have used a cosine kernel just to give you an understanding of some different kernels apart from the default kernel, that is Gaussian kernel. And this is the bandwidth. Now here the bandwidth is 0.1, and that's the reason uh, it is a very peaky kind of plot. Okay, but once you uh, change the value to 10, you can see that it is a perfectly bell-shaped curve, a smooth curve. So now there will be a doubt in your mind that, like, how to choose the bandwidth, because like uh, what are the parameters on which we can understand what is the appropriate bandwidth for us. So there are two techniques for that, and that is Scott and Silverman technique. So you just have to mention which type of technique you want to use for selecting your bandwidth, and then accordingly according your data and your uh, your size of data, it selects an appropriate bandwidth for you. So Silverman is the most advisable bandwidth used. Now, the reason why bandwidth changes your plot drastically is because of the variance. Like once you decrease your bandwidth, like here we decreased the bandwidth to 0.1, the peak was the plot was very peaky. It was a pointed plot. So the reason for that is variance. So as you decrease the bandwidth, your variance increases, and that's the reason why you get peaky plots. So we have learned variance in our school times, but just have a look on what variance exactly is. So this is the formula of the variance. Now I know it sounds a bit of mathematical, but yeah, this is the basis of like basic understanding of variance. So this is the formula which tells us about variance. N is the number of data point, xi is that particular data point on which we are working, and mu is the mean. So here I have considered 5 data points, and I have calculated the mean, and the mean is 44. And by putting all these values in the formula, you will get variance somewhere around 464. And by that, you can get the standard deviation, which is root of variance, and the standard deviation is 21.54. Now here I have taken only 5 data points, but in your actual data set there is a large number of data points. So okay, wait. So yes, this is so this is what a standard deviation is. Now this was our mean, and we got our deviation, as 21.54. So this was our first standard deviation, this one strip. Then this was our second. The second strip is the second standard deviation. Similarly, the third strip is the third standard deviation according to the standard deviation we calculated. So standard deviation is basically the deviation from your average value. Okay, and variance is basically the measure of dispersion, or you can say how far a set of numbers is spread from the average value, and it helps us to find out the spread of the value within the data distribution, like how much your data is spread or how much your data is deviated from an average value. That can be calculated using variance and standard deviation. So let's understand it by a clear figure. Now, here you can see that this is your first standard deviation, this is your second standard deviation, and it tells you the percentage. Here you can see 34.1, which means that out of your entire data, 34.1% of your data lies in this standard deviation. Then 13.6% of your data lies in second standard deviation, and so on. Now, let's move to our collab. And yes, now these are some small arguments which we don't use frequently, but still they are better to learn. So here we have a cut equals to 0. So in this, what happens is the plot gets cut at the 0th position. Now here it was before 0 also, and here we can see the plot is slitted over here. Then this is clipping. So clipping allows you to select a range for yourself, that between which range you want your plot to be displayed. Okay. So here you can see I have given the range as 0 to 30, and my plot is distributed between 0 to 30 range. You can give any range you want. It depends upon you within which range you want the data points or the plot to be displayed. Now this is grid size. Now grid size is basically it allows you to plot the uh, uh, KD plot according to the number of points you want. Now I have given here grid size is 3, so that's the reason here it's 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now once you give it as 5, you can see that it's plotted with respect to 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Similarly, if you give 50 points, it will be according to 50 points. Okay, so here you can see that we have plotted the KD plot for all of the features or the elements in our data set which contribute in air pollution. Okay, so by this you can see that the blue color is present at the top, which means that carbon monoxide is present in high amounts in the atmosphere. Now let's have a look on bivariate KD plots. So bivariate KD plots uses two features for representing the data or data visualization. So here you can see that we have used carbon monoxide and SO2 as our two features, and this is the plot with respect to that. So this shows us the contours representation according to their density levels of the data. Then the rings which are bigger are backwards, and the ones which are higher density, like the rings which are smaller, are uh, more towards uh, are more closer to us. You can also add a grid over here if you want. Okay, then if you notice that the bivariate KD plots doesn't show probability density, but instead they show frequency on both the x-axis and y-axis. So here we have plotted the graph with respect to xylene and toluene, and this dark spot which you can see over here, that basically implies that both xylene and toluene has its amount between the range 0 to 20. Means uh, both xylene and toluene amounts are fitting in the range 0 to 20 largely. Then here we have a C-bar argument. Now, as I told you that it only tells us about the frequency. So if you want to know about the density with respect to different levels, then you can add a C-bar function over here, and you can see this bar displaying the densities. So here you can see that this, which is a darker plot, has more density, darker spot has more density, and other the data where the data is widely spread, it has a lighter color and its density is also lesser. Similarly, I have plotted another KD plot, and here the data is widely spread. Now here comes the levels. So you can also add the number of contours you want in your plot. So I have mentioned here 20. You can also change the number and you can see that the plot is according to 20 contours or 20 levels. See. Now comes the CMAP argument. Now CMAP argument allows us to display your KDE plots with different color combinations. Now I have used here accent. So here you can see that accent is a combination of green, yellow and red. Similarly, here I have used cool warm, and the color combination of cool warm is blue, orange and red. So similarly, you can also add colors to your KDE plots to make it more uh, user friendly, you can say, or more attractive. And also you can combine both of the plots. If you want to compare between all the features, you can use all the features over here. I have just used two, and you can get a complete understanding of the which element is present in larger amount in the atmosphere. So that was all for today's video of KD plots. See you in the next video with some more plots and data visualization techniques. So thanks for watching. Till then, see ya. Bye bye.